The mythical, the supernatural, the paranormal, yetis, yowies, Bigfoot, ghosts, UFOs, aliens, Ouija boards, spooky shit that just happens to all of us if we're honest. Those are the topics that Benson and I dug into in this podcast. It was very cool to have him back. First time to have him back in the Finnish refinery. And as I say, absolute pleasure. Looking forward to more podcasts with the big fella. I don't want to mess around, guys. You guys don't need to listen to me. You want to listen to the podcast, don't you? So, as always, thanks to Craig Johnston on Craig Johnston Music on Facebook for the intro, and Rowdy Strum on Rowdy Strum Music on Facebook for Bathe in the Sun and Demons in My Mind. We might do Demons in My Mind first and then Bathe in the Sun to finish. Awesome, guys. A lot of new listeners, so thank you very much to those guys. Spread the word. Instagram, Unlocking the Code, and our Facebook page is also Unlocking the Code. Give us a like, give us a share. That'd be really cool. And if you can leave a review on iTunes, that helps us out a lot. Awesome, guys. Plenty of good stuff in the bag already. Keep hustling. Get after it. We'll talk soon. Cheers.
Have I burned out? Have I blackened the ground? Will I fight back, find my strength again? Days have been gold, tomorrow losing their shine. Will I give up? I doubt it. I never turn to bottle to wash away the demons in my mind. I stood up and knocked them down. Though I had a struggle till I seen the colored eyes of the kind. Now they have built me up. I've always had the answer. I'm not one to self-destruct. There's too many smiles that I love. And when my world comes crashing down, I get right back up. I take the brunt, I walk out of the road. Have I burned out? Have I blackened the ground? Will I fight back, find my strength again? Days have been gold, but tomorrow losing their shine. Will I give up? I doubt it. I never turn to the bottle to wash away the demons in my mind. I stood up and knocked them down. And if you wanna take me out, you need more than both your barrels to shoot me down. 'Cause now I am tough. Have I burned out? Have I blackened the ground? Will I fight back, find my strength again? Days have been gold, but tomorrow losing their shine. Will I give up? I doubt it. Will I give up? I doubt it. Will I give it all away? No way.
G'day everyone, welcome back. And guess what? Benson's back, mate.
Back again for round 2.
Three.
3, yeah.
3. For weirdness, it's 3. So we did Let's Get Weird, It's Getting Weirder. And I think, just impromptu, the weirdness continues, man.
Yeah.
That's the title.
Let
it
the
roll.
weirdness ensue.
Yeah. And look, man, the thing is that Benson is actually a founding member of the refinery. However, he come around and helped us build it. And then it's your first time back, mate.
It's been a long time between drinks, mate.
It has, mate. It has. But it's so stoked to have you back, man.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah. And what do you reckon about the new gear?
Mate, it's pretty killer.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
We've been messing around all night. We could have started the podcast 5 times. We've just been messing around. Have a weirdness. You sent me an article when we started to get back in touch and said we want to continue the weirdness, and that was about the Yowie or the Yeti or Bigfoot or whatever you want to say, man.
Whatever you want to call him.
Okay, so
them potentially.
So, Australopithecus, is that what we're saying? Or we're saying something that's actually different than Australopithecus?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what it is, mate.
Well, because the thing is that we know that Australopithecus did exist. It was a large hominid.
Yep.
Excuse me. It was a large hominid that was humanoid in form, and they did exist once upon a time. However, like everywhere else, however, definitely in Australia, we have the Yeti, right? And the article that you sent me was like a 4-minute audio soundbite that was here in Queensland, right? And this guy come round a bend and saw this thing that was 8 to 10 foot tall, furry.
Yeah, his description was 8 to 10 foot tall, massive build. The small head, like it didn't have a neck, and he was in a truck.
He was in a truck, and
he was in a truck,
and he said it was like he was almost eye to eye with it, and it sort of glided across the road, and apparently from around that area. Do you remember the area it was?
It was Beachmont.
Beachmont, that's right.
Yeah.
Apparently, locally, he's known as the Big Red.
Yeah, he's a bit of a local legend, apparently.
Yeah, he's a bit of a local legend, local celebrity. Big Red goes down the dump and has a bit of a fossick around. So I suppose we are looking at, what are we looking at? We're looking at myth. We're looking at local legend. We're looking at
a truck driver that's just spinning a yarn.
Exactly. Or do these things exist, man?
Well, that's what we're here to talk about.
That is what we're here to talk about. Because, okay, could they exist? In an infinite universe, infinite possibilities are infinite, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at it like that, then technically, yes, then of course they could exist.
Absolutely.
However, why is it that this paradigm it continues, right? Doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah.
There is stories.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Are they, as I say, myth or local legend? I don't know, man.
Yeah. For me, the reason why I sent you the article and for you to have a listen and stuff is, ever since I was a kid, I've always been fascinated by Bigfoot.
Yes, everybody has.
I was obsessed with Harry and the Hendersons as a
I
kid.
loved Harry and the Hendersons, man.
Yep. Awesome. Loved it. Just everything about it. I just love the thought that there could be a 10-foot tall creature that's a bit humanoid that resides in the wilderness and cannot be found.
Yeah. And I think, is it that we want that to be the case?
Oh, potentially, man. Like,
the thing is, though, okay, so is it an echo in time, right? So, Australopithecus used to exist, okay?
Yeah.
It was a large humanoid, exactly what we're saying. So, it used to exist. They found the bones of them, right? Is it an echo of your DNA? That once upon a time, somewhere along the line, we coexisted with these things, right?
Yeah.
But who's to say? And because of the myth and story and all that sort of stuff, we want it to be true, or is it an echo of a memory?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's interesting because the thing is, you want it to be true, right?
It is. You definitely do. And I think from that article, the thing that got me was how genuine the guy sounded.
Yeah, that's
while
true. He
telling
was
his
just
story,
matter of fact. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was just matter of fact.
I don't want to come across as sounding gullible or one-sided
That's right.
on it at all. It's
And look, this was the Yowie Research Group, was it? No, the Yowie Hunting Society.
Yowie Hunters Australia.
Yowie Hunters Australia.
Yeah.
And they've got merchandise and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, it's... However, these... Again, it's another one of those Aussie folk tales, those Aussie stories that is persistent.
Yeah.
No matter where you go.
And it's one of those tales that's the world over as well. The US has the Bigfoot.
The Bigfoot, yep.
There's the Yetis out there as well.
Yeah. And I don't know about the other continents, but I'm pretty sure that it is a constant story. It's maybe I'm poisoned by Joe Rogan because he's like, he did the Bigfoot thing. He's like, I want it to exist. However,
Yeah.
you know, there's no
How likely is it?
how likely
Probably
is
pretty
it?
fucking unlikely.
Pretty fucking unlikely.
Yeah.
However, you think about Australia, right? So let's step away from the US and all that sort of stuff. You think about Australia, there's no way, and I've thought about this a lot, there's no way that someone has walked all the bush in Australia. The place is too
hell no.
fucking big, man.
Yeah.
No one has.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, could something like that exist in the wilderness? Yes. I know what it struck when I read that, or when I listened to that the first time when you sent it to me a couple of weeks ago, I thought about the fact that there's the other old story that the circus went bust and the circus owner let the panthers loose, and that was in Victoria.
Yeah.
And they found like big massive cat prints and, you know, all that sort of stuff over the years. And
Well, I've seen the photos that people have taken where there's a big cat on a tree stump out in the middle of nowhere, and these are legit massive cats.
yeah.
And you look at it and it's all black. Can't help
panther.
but think it's a panther.
You know, so these things, the Yowie and the Yeti and the Bigfoot, as I say, it's another. I want it to exist. And look, that bloke sounded genuine. He's like, mate, you know, this is what I saw. It's all, you know,
Yep.
it's all matter of fact. I was a bit, you know, in a bit of shock, that sort of thing. I'll post that. You've sent that to me again, so I'll make sure I put it up on the page before I release the podcast. So
Yeah, no, that'd be cool.
give the guys a chance to listen to it. And like you said, we should go and be Yowie hunters. You want to see a Yowie?
Man, even just the opportunity to go out into the bush and just forage around for...
Yeah, pretending to be a Yowie hunter.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what I'm fucking looking for, but
No.
let's get amongst it, mate.
Well, what did you say? There was a big handprint on the back of a Land Cruiser or something like that?
Yeah. So this is just scrolling through their page, having a bit of a browse, and yeah, there's a few reports in there, but yeah, how credible are they? What is it? Handprint. They said it was
a glove.
Well, yeah, you've got those Hulk hands
Yeah.
that kids get. And
Yeah.
it could be any number of things. I just love the idea of the possibility of it being genuine.
Yeah, me too. Look, it's like aliens too, man. It's like, do I want aliens to exist? Yes. You know.
Yeah.
However, there is the Fermi paradox. Where are they?
I just don't want the abducting and anal probing aliens. I want the nice ones.
Oh, right. You want the nice ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Again, though, it's like, where's the evidence? Well, listen to Alex Jones. There's plenty of evidence. However, he's a little bit nuts. So,
Oh, mate.
did you even get through that podcast?
No. I can't listen to the man.
Why?
It just his whole shtick.
It's not.
It's out of control. He's always yelling. There's no calmness about the man. He's in your face, and it's just that persistent forcing stuff in your face.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's true, false.
Made up on the spot.
Yeah,
Who
he
knows?
just hammers you with it, and it's like, mate, just chill out.
However, he goes on about internet dimensional aliens, and look, that's a fascinating topic
Yeah,
because again, an infinite universe, anything is possible.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you just skip dimensions if you could?
No, I would.
The math suggests at least 9. I think, at this stage. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's 9. Yeah. Aliens is one of those things, man. I mean, how deep? Because obviously we're now into conspiracy theory territory, right? We've got Bigfoot, Yowies, aliens. Have you got any UFO stories?
Potentially. Potentially. Seen things in the sky, but, mate,
Well, tell us, mate.
It'd be pure speculation as to what it was.
Well, share it with the listeners.
So, where I used to live when I was in high school, we had a park directly across the street.
Yep.
And I used to smoke when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So
over the park having a diary?
Run over the park, have a dozer.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a cricket pitch right in the middle of the park, and I used to just sit there, smoke my cigarettes, and then mosey on back home afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah, one night laid down on the cricket pitch having a smoke, and I was laying just looking straight up.
Yeah.
And then like in the top right corner of my eye, I could see a light moving. So I've sort of moved my head back even further to get a good glimpse at it. And when I saw it, I could see a second light very close to it.
Yeah.
So that one was ahead of the other. It was just trailing by a little bit. And then all of a sudden, they shot in a directly straight line across the sky.
Start chasing each other, or?
Yeah, so in an instant, one moved from... It's hard to give distance.
Yeah, across the sky. So you've got 180 degrees across the sky, so it's moved like 30, 40 degrees,
Oh, mate, let's say 90.
Yeah, right, it's just shot across the sky.
In an instant, but you could see them switch in midair.
Right.
So
they spiraled around each other.
It was super quick, but you could still see them switch from first to second.
Yeah.
And, it was just one of those things where the light itself initially looked like it could have just been a satellite.
Yeah, but then it moved.
Then I've seen two
Yeah.
that were very close to each other, and then I've seen them just move like nothing you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, I'm a little bit stunned and finished my ciggies and
Walked home and what the fuck
walked
was
home
that?
and just, sat there and thought about it and wondered what on earth happened.
Well, my one's not dissimilar. I was in the driveway, probably about, in high school. I was with 13 or 14. I was with a couple of friends, and we were literally lying on the driveway looking up at the stars. And this thing, a light appeared, and then it dashed across the sky. Then it sort of fucking zigzagged, right? This thing's sort of bounced around the sky a little bit. I ran inside to get my little telescope that I used to use to try and get a bead on it.
Yeah.
Come back out, and it sort of went zigzag again, and then it's gone. Before I could get my telescope out, like I sort of went out to the driveway, spotted it, and it went and gone.
Yeah.
And we all sort of stood there and went, "What the fuck was that?" Like,
Yeah.
you have those confirmation things. Like, did you see that shit?
Yeah.
I saw it. Did you see it? Everyone saw it. It's like, okay, so we're not crazy.
Oh, so there was more than just yourself.
Yeah. There was like 3 of us there. So it wasn't spinning out and just seeing things.
Yeah.
There's confirmation there. And look, I suppose it's actually something that I saw the other day, was that Tesla had a diagram for an anti-gravity UFO in 1928. That was part of the blueprints that was stolen when he died, was one of those blueprints.
Yeah, okay.
So again, man, like, how deep do you want to go down the rabbit hole?
Yeah, well,
You know?
that was the whole conspiracy about the Germans having spacecraft and
Yeah.
and then I think it was NASA took almost all of the engineers from
Operation Paperclip, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, the head of NASA was a Nazi SS dude.
Yeah. That's going down the rabbit hole.
I mean, the other creepy thing, like UFO thing, that really comes to mind that I've seen that was weird in the sky. Well, it wasn't actually in the sky. I was working out west, and we could go home whenever we want. We're doing 3 in 1. So me
Yeah.
and my offsider used to get up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then we'd be home by sunrise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're at past Dolby, so it used to take us about 4 hours to get home.
Yeah.
We used to get up super early, pack the ute, have the ute packed, and just get up and just drive in the middle of the night. You know, just to get home. So you got a full day when you get home with the missus and that. And so we'd driven this road 100 times. You know, that was the road we drove to and from work every time. And we're cruising along. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's what you would call the min lights.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Massive light. Just in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, there's not a lot out there, and there's not a lot going on at 3 o'clock in the morning out in Western Queensland.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, there's oil rigs, there's that, you know what I mean? We were part of that. We knew where all that stuff was.
Yeah.
And this light, it was like really bright, and it never, for like 20 Ks, it never got any closer or any further away.
Just maintain that distance.
Just maintain that distance, and then all of a sudden, it disappeared.
Just vanished, eh?
And I looked at my side, I went, man, well, we're driving with 20 Ks. What the fuck is that light?
Yeah, so you're both having a conversation
Yeah, we're having a
about it while
conversation
you're
about it.
driving
Like, it's like,
towards
what the fuck is that? We know where we are. It's like,
Yeah.
where are we, man? You know, no, we know where we are. No, there's nothing out there. What the fuck is that thing?
And it would have been dark at the time, but
Pitch black.
how high do you reckon it would have been?
It was just on the ground. Like, it was level with our eye line.
Oh, so potentially, like, visually it could have looked like headlights?
No, it was a single light, and it was really, really bright.
Yeah, okay.
It was a single light, and it was really, really bright, and it was always about 3 or 4 Ks away.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it was a fair distance away. However, over that 20-so Ks, it was like a good 25, half an hour that we were driving towards it, I suppose you would say.
Yeah.
However, we never got any closer
Yeah.
or further away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
get you.
And it's like, yeah, so we're, that's a good 10 minutes. We're having a full-on conversation about it. It was definitely like, are you fucking serious? What is that? What the fuck is going on? And then all of a sudden it just blinked out.
Yeah.
And we sort of looking at each other like, what was that? Do you know what that was? No, I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fucking freaking me out. You know what I mean? We were proper freaked out 'cause it's like there was just no reason for that light to be there, no reason for it to appear, no reason for it to disappear, and just the way it acted, it's like, whoa.
And it'd also be the fact that you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be unnerving and...
Yeah. We're literally in the middle of nowhere, but in between, where were we? In between Dolby and Toowoomba, I think, is where we were.
Yeah.
So, man, like, I'll never forget that one. Like, that's like, what the fuck? What was that? But there's heaps of stories about that up in the territory. A lot of min lights, especially up in Arnhem Land, like lights just appear. It's like, I think the thing is, man, is that I think we might have spoke about this on one of the other podcasts. It's been so long since we sat down. However, as far as like light goes, the light spectrum that we see is like 5%, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't see, the things that we don't see far outweigh the things that we do see.
Mm.
And who's to say that sometimes you don't slip into somewhere else or something else? Like,
Yeah.
It's a weird one,
It is. But I like that your stories involve other people.
Yes.
There's always someone else there to help quantify what you'd seen.
Yeah. Oh, look, most of my stories, may quantify what we've seen, but it's still what the fuck, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think, look, a younger version of myself, would jump straight to min lights and conspiracies and all that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know, man. Like, the thing with conspiracy theories, and aliens. So we've covered up Bigfoot, aliens, that sort of stuff, right?
Yep.
Think about all the documentation. So we just had the Yowie Hunters Association or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
All the evidence of UFOs, all that stuff, right? Imagine if 1% of that stuff is true.
Yeah.
Is that reasonable to assume? Or is it all total bullshit? You know what I mean? Like, how many stories are there about UFO sightings, aliens, Bigfoot, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the classical evidence for Bigfoot is the tape and all that sort of stuff. And obviously, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
However, realistically, so no one's ever seen anything. Old mate in the truck didn't see anything. The old ladies that called him Big Red and told him went down the dump shit. They never saw nothing. So all these people, no one saw anything.
Yeah.
That's the problem with this stuff, man. It's like you could get weird and woo-woo with it if you wanted to. And, we do. However, I don't think we know at the end of the day, man.
No, absolutely not. And I think that's what makes it so intriguing.
Yeah.
I
think that's part of it, is the mystery.
That little possibility that it could be legit.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what keeps us going back to them, mate? Is it the mystery?
I can safely say that it is for me.
It is, man. It is. It's like we can neither confirm nor deny that such things exist.
No.
So, and look, I mean, you could go into, a lot of people believe in the big man in the sky. You know what I mean? It's like, the big man in the sky is going to curse you if you masturbate. You know what I mean? It's like, who said? You know what I mean? It's like, I think there's that element of mystery that we all need, that human nature, it is in our nature to want to see things where they may not exist.
Yeah.
And I think we like to build on that. You think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It's, in saying that too, it's funny how you pick and choose what you want to pursue.
That's true.
Like you bring up the big man in the sky.
Yeah.
It probably as potentially ludicrous as everything else that I've ever invested my time in looking into.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But I totally dismiss it.
Exactly. Why do you
totally dismiss it? I do not give it a second thought.
No. But
and yet somehow a Yowie standing up on the side of the road in Beachmont, walking in front of a truck.
That's got you. You want to go Yowie hunting?
Mate.
Let's head to Beachmont. What are we doing here? You are right, man. And it's interesting. But I suppose is that belief systems, is that culture? You know what I mean? Like, is that the church has poisoned our minds to a point?
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of people crave the need to be governed by something.
Oh, to have a purpose.
Yeah.
A faith.
Yeah,
faith in
to
something
just be
bigger
like,
than themselves.
I live this life, and the reason why I do it is because of this guy in the sky that...
Yeah, gave me the 10 Commandments, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But Moses was high on DMT, yeah, don't you?
Well, he'd have to be, wouldn't he?
Well, no, he was talking to an acacia bush, man. That's actually in the Bible.
Yeah, right.
It's a burning acacia bush.
Yeah.
The plant with the highest DMT content.
Yeah.
Is the acacia bush. He's off his dial, man. Right? Yes.
That's going to be my new saying. Put me in front of an acacia bush and call me Moses.
I can see the future.
I see burning bushes in your future.
Yeah. Oh, man. And again, why do we say aliens, Bigfoot, these things, the supernatural? Like, I know we both love the supernatural. Like, that's where we spent a lot of our time getting weird.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of very strange experiences that can or cannot be explained. You know, yet if you watch those ghost shows, it's quite clearly full of shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's
yeah.
Or do you buy into it?
I don't buy into it. I watch them.
Oh yeah, I've watched a fair film as well.
I watch quite a bit, and I don't know. Once again, it's just the thought that it is legit is exciting. It's
okay then. All right. So you want to go weird?
In saying that as well, I've lived through
multiple
pretty
crazy experiences,
pretty weird shit, as we've talked about in the first podcast.
Yeah.
So I think I relate to it. So it's something that I've been through. And
okay, so let's dive back in there then.
Yeah, mate.
In your opinion, what would be a ghost? Is it the echo of a human? Are we talking spirit? What are we talking? What is where's the line? And what would one be? What would be one and what would be the other? Are we thinking about multi-dimensional beings?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where is the line there?
Very broad
Okay, it is a very broad question.
Broad question, yeah.
Okay, run of the mill ghosts.
Yep.
What do you think? Is that an echo of someone's soul, a spirit? You know, was that generally these people are living, or they were living once upon a time?
I guess
They stuck in purgatory.
just in my way of thinking, I guess I would say that when you kick it, your essence goes to another place.
Yeah,
And that place is still within our realm.
there's a gate there.
Yeah, I
The
think
light,
it's like you said. You see 5% of.
the light spectrum.
Yeah, so, mate, they could be sitting all around us right now, and we can't see them because they're in a different space.
Different space or different dimension or different
Yeah,
light.
Whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And I guess because they are around us, they can interact with us and that sort of stuff.
So I mean, yes.
I don't know. That's just my logic.
Yep.
Towards it, could be well and truly off the fucking mark, but
Well, there's something that's powering us, right? So I think we might have got into this one of the other podcasts as well about the soul, right? So
yeah, we were talking about energy and a whole bunch of
different things.
other
So
things. Yeah.
there's something that powers us, okay? And fortunately or unfortunately, we've both seen dead bodies, and a dead person is dead. Whatever's powering them is gone now. Okay?
Yeah, and it's one of those, when it's gone, you know.
Yeah.
You just know.
Yeah, you look at that, it's over.
Yeah.
So energy is energy, yeah? So is that essence, that power just either blinks out or it goes back into the greater whole. Now and the thing about this, right, is that we start talking about ghosts and spirits, the afterlife. That's the essence of all religion. That's the essence of, this is what happens when you die.
Yeah.
However, the reality is, no one fucking knows.
No.
No. Right?
Yeah.
No one.
That's the answer. No.
You go, no one knows.
Yeah. I think you've just reminded me another reasoning for why I think of it the way that I do.
Yeah.
You hear the stories about people dying on the operating table and they drift out of their body and look down on themselves. And there's people in that room. They're not seeing a floating spirit looking down on itself. So, yeah, that's sort of where I'm sort of getting they exist.
However, we can't see them.
But we just can't see them.
And therefore, you know, obviously, and again, a lot of mediums and psychics and all that sort of stuff, they're all shysters as well. However, a percentage of them, I think, truly do have a gift, and that's just my personal beliefs.
Yeah.
However, along that path, when you said that, I was like, astral travelling.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. I've done an astral travel workshop, and I didn't physically get out of my body and look down, but I definitely felt the vibration of me separating from myself.
Yeah, okay.
And have I astral travelled in my dreams? Definitely, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've got a story for you. Talking about astral travel, right?
Mate.
So the classic flying story.
Yeah.
You can fly.
Yeah.
And I'm flying over these, like a pine forest, having an awesome time, right? Banking left, right, getting a bit cocky with myself, and I fuck up. And I come crashing down. Smash through the trees, hit every stick on the way down. And when I hit the ground, I wake up. And I'm fucking sore. Like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, it actually felt like I'd hit, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like I'd crashed through the trees.
You've eaten shit. And
yeah, I woke up and I was so sore and my back was out and I was going to a chiropractor at the time. And I'm like, wow, I just feel out, right? I'm like, oh, man. So I rang the chiropractor, got in there that afternoon and walked into the chiropractor. And behind the desk at the chiropractor's office is this little fairy. Short, older, blonde lady. She looked like a fairy.
Yep.
Right? And I'm like, oh, geez, I feel so sore, you know what I mean? I can't wait to get in and see the chiropractor. And she looks me deadpan in the eye and goes, we should stick those landings then, shouldn't you?
Wow.
No shit, right? And then she just wandered off.
Yeah.
I'd never seen her before. Never saw her since. No bullshit.
That's cool.
Right?
I like that.
So are you, I mean, and that's the question, man. It's like, are we asleep now? Is part of our essence asleep now and it's active in another realm?
Yeah.
Or are we active you know, because we've all had nights of sleep where you wake up and go, what the fuck was I doing while I was asleep? Like, I do not feel rested at all. I'm fucked, you know?
Yeah.
Is that surely's happened to you?
Oh, absolutely, mate.
Mm.
Absolutely. I do tend to not remember a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that you wake up and you just know that some shit happened.
Yeah, some shit's gone down when you're asleep.
But, yeah.
Well, again, lucid dreaming's an interesting one as well. So I played with lucid dreaming for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I've probably had about half a dozen experiences now
Mm-hmm.
where I've actually, in my dream state, have come to and actually been active and awake in my dream state.
Yeah, okay.
You know, the
So, sort of like sleepwalking.
No.
type
So
scenario, or-
So if you lucid dreaming is you're in the dream, and the other one is the technique that's a popular one is the knock on the door.
Mm.
You knock on the door and see if it's real, right?
Yeah, okay.
So in your dream, you knock on the door,
Yeah.
right, and then you can see that's one of the tools that you use,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about being aware that you are in your own mind, because obviously deep dreaming, theoretically, is a DMT dump.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that before.
You know, and again, we talk about going into the light and the near-death experiences. Same thing.
Yeah.
You know, your brain gives you a dump to make you feel awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like people that are in traumatic accidents that are that badly injured that they're going to pass, but they just feel euphoric.
Yeah, they feel fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's like people pinned people have that. Yeah,
Yeah.
where they feel great, they feel perfectly fine. However, as soon as that thing is released, that's pinning them,
Yeah, it's all over.
they'll die.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of stories about that where they'll go and get your loved ones if someone's pinned up against a tree or something like that. It's like, come and say goodbye.
All I can think of is Scary Movie.
They take the piss out of everything, those scary movies, don't they? And I think that's if you want to, it's something you can take the piss out of because no one knows, right?
Oh, yeah.
However, the thing about quantum mechanics and the way the physics is going is they're actually proving that different dimensions exist. You know, they've transported things from one place to another.
Yeah.
The line between magic and science is blurry, right? They still, and this is the thing about consciousness, right? And all this stuff, whether or not the soul, the spirit, what powers us, how we are conscious, of all the brilliant, they call that the hard problem
Yeah.
in physics and all that stuff, neurobiology. It's the hard problem because the reality is, again, no one fucking knows, man.
Mm.
However, you've got a collection of experiences. And again, I think we are poisoned by the church to a point because it's like, oh no, that's Satan, you know what I mean? You're possessed, you know, like it's like...
Yeah, if it
doesn't suit...
If it's not what they call a divine experience, it's the devil.
Yeah, well, what is a divine experience?
Well, it's up to the individual, I guess.
It is, man.
Yeah.
It is. You know, so it's like, you know, we told some pretty spooky stories last time, or the first time that we were here. And we were Let's Get Weird. It was actually the old brown couch, mate, I think it was. I think there's a...
Yeah, it was actually.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
However, you know, I think we said at the end of that one, it's like all those stories, as far as we're concerned, are true. We experienced them.
Yeah, in both of our minds,
Yeah.
everything that happened.
Yeah. Did it happen? Who knows?
Hey.
Because that's the other thing too. It's like, so when you remember and you tell a story, are you remembering the last time you told the story, or are you actually remembering the story?
Yeah, yeah. And I think the first story that I told was a story from when I was five-ish.
Yeah.
In my mind, it is as vivid as the day it happened, but there is still something in the back of my mind that goes, did I actually see that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty hell-bent on
The fact that you did.
on the fact that I did, but yeah, there's always something there that goes, did you, mate? Did you really see it?
Did you really? Was that actual true? Are you just seeing shit?
Yeah.
Is that the Western mind and culture and society imprinting you think, or is that natural human consciousness just questioning all sides to it?
Probably in that instance, I think it's just like I'm 34 now, so
Yeah, through the windows of time.
yeah, through the window of time, you question it. You go, I was around 5 at the time.
Right.
What really happened? And like you said, I could have been having a pretty vivid dream, and they might have come to me in that way, and I thought I was awake. Who knows? Who knows, man?
How can you tell the difference?
Yeah.
You know, well, and look, you want to go, you were 5, so therefore you were closer to the veil. You know, I think we told a few stories as well about those young kids that are, you know, there's the baby monitor one. I think we said that one.
Yeah, that's the one that
the 3-year-old goes into the baby's room and leans over the cot and through the baby monitor. The mum hears, "Can you tell me what heaven's like? I'm beginning to forget."
Yeah.
Whoa,
that shit's fucked.
That's deep, man. You know, and like there's those multiple cases, confirmed cases of like, oh, my name was, you know, Barry Smith or whatever.
Yeah, I survived the war.
Yeah, this is where I died.
did this and did this, and it all checks out.
It all checks out, and they've got no way or no reason to know that.
That stuff blows me away.
Yeah.
That in my mind is...
How do you quantify that? And I think the thing is, because those cases, there's not a plethora of them, you know what I mean? It's not like there's thousands and thousands of those cases, right? Is that because no one's really, you know, no one... Look, a lot of people, I reckon, would think they were bloody nuts. You know what I mean? Like, would you share that if you actually had that in your mind? If you had that echo?
Yeah. And
I think, because there's not thousands of them, and this is the same with all these sorts of things, the aliens, all that sort of stuff, right? People do blow stuff out of proportion. We are known to be a bit dramatic at times.
Yeah.
And we are known to crave attention. So there is those nutters that just make shit up just to try and make a buck or get in the news or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Again, what if 1% is true? You know what I'm saying? Like, and the reason we don't believe that 1% is because the rest of it's bullshit. That's my thoughts on all of that stuff, is like, and especially the personal experiences that I have had. It's like, in my mind, it's true. I've seen enough evidence to suggest that it potentially is true. Can I deal with the fact if it isn't true? Sure, I can. You know, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, the reality is that, yeah, did I tell the shadow in my bedroom story last time?
I don't think so.
I'll tell it again anyway, because it's been over a year since we have, you know. So we're back down the spiritual, supernatural stories. So I lived in Arnhem Land, and I had bunks, right? So I had like I had the top. I used to always sleep on the top bunk, and I had them like in an L shape. And I had a room, and there was 2 like long windows with the flip shutters. You know what I mean? Like
yep.
And anyway, I woke up one night, and there was like a dark shadow in the corner. And for whatever reason, like, I'm 15, so I'm not 10. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, however, I must admit, I did spend my teenage years deep in the supernatural and all that sort of stuff. So you need to pepper that with that was I was reading a lot of aliens and ghost stories and conspiracies. You know what I mean? And I think that needs to be said.
Yeah.
However, experimenting, all that sort of stuff, you know, it was the late 90s, man. Everyone was doing it. You know what I mean? Like, that was what was going on. And anyway, so I woke up and I saw this shadow. And did it have a definition? No. However, I felt, my instincts told me that it was a little girl.
Yeah.
And she was scared. And I remember being scared myself, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then going, listen, no harm, no foul. I don't want you, leave me alone and I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul. And I sort of, after a while, went back to sleep. In the morning, obviously daytime, not there.
Yeah.
And this went on for about 2 weeks, probably every second or 2 out of 3 nights. And towards the end, it was clear to me that it wasn't out to get me. You know what I mean? It wasn't evil or dark or anything else like that.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was hiding, actually. It was hiding in the corner.
So when you say it was a big shadow...
No, it was like a small shadow. If you imagine...
Oh, okay, so it wasn't like projecting a small girl to be larger in a shadow form?
No. So imagine just like... Because no lights on in the room, no night lights or anything else like that.
So it's true to size?
Yeah, true to size, just like a dark shadow in the corner. And... yeah, it was like someone... my memory tells me, right, that it was someone like had their hands around their knees and was sort
in
of
a ball,
sort of,
yeah,
right. However, did I see any definition? No, it was just dark
shadow.
But that was what my instincts told me. And I sort of, after a while, I would wake up and notice it was there, and then, basically peace and love. It's okay.
Yep.
I'm going to go back to sleep. And then towards the end, I thought, it seems to be scared. Can I help it? So I said to it, and I think I actually physically said to this at the time, I said, listen, there's a bed here. No one sleeps in that bed. It's comfortable. You'll be safe. If you want to sleep there, you can sleep there. You can rest there. It's no problem. Okay? However, you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. If you want to stay there, you want to rest there, totally fine. And it wasn't the first time. The first night I said that, stayed where it was. The second night, stayed where it was. And then we came back on the third night, and it's hard, like windows of time again, right?
Yeah.
Did I see it physically walk, or did I see it physically move? Did it bring the covers up? You know what I mean? Was there a three-dimensional outlay?
Yeah.
No. However, did the energy or whatever it was move to the bed? Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And it stayed there for the night, and then I never saw it again. Weird.
Yeah.
Again, it's all the middle of the night, so could it have been a DMT dump? Could it have been a dream? You know what I mean? You don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, to me, that was, man, that was a weird one.
That's freaky deaky. The fact that it happened multiple nights.
It was over the course of about 2 weeks.
It wasn't a one-off thing.
No.
It was,
No, and I think the reason, and look, obviously I think about it logically, if that does exist, it hung around because it knew it was safe, you know what I mean? It was hiding from something.
Yeah.
And if it was, let's pretend, not pretend, however, we obviously have a similar belief system that there's potential spirits and entities and people that are caught between worlds that are a part of something that we don't understand.
Yep.
It was looking for somewhere to hide. It needed to be somewhere safe. If it was an old spirit that was running, or maybe all it needed was a safe place to see the light and move on.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe it was a test. Maybe,
Yeah.
How do you quantify that?
I think there's a lot to be said about the fact that both of us have had multiple things happen. In that, like you said, if these are spirits that are running from something and they just happen to notice us and be like, this person has something different about them that they might be able to see me or might be able to interact with me.
Feel.
Yeah.
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 And look, I think, well, again, you go back to, there's always been stories of mediums, or, you know what I mean? Like, that's something that's persistent, is that some of us are closer to the veil than...
Yeah, I've actually been told by a medium that I am essentially a medium.
Yeah, right.
But I've never pursued it and taken anything seriously.
No.
I don't know if that's a door that I'd want to open, if it's a legitimate thing. It could be...
Well, I think doing something like that without the proper understanding, the proper protection, look, it's my opinion that some of these people delve into this sort of stuff and they don't have any idea what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't mean anything. I remember, years ago now, however, a person that I knew happened to see, for whatever reason, what was in her plastic bag. We were catching up one day, and there was all these candles and all this sort of stuff, and it was witchcraft stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've read books on witchcraft. I've read books on Wicca. You know what I mean? I've spent a long time down that rabbit hole. There's books in the container that pertain to that, and I knew what I was looking at, and I was like, "What are you trying to do?" And they wanted to do like a love spell or something like that. I think it was. They were going to bind someone to them because that was going to be their soulmate and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
And I took the stuff off that person.
Yeah.
I said, listen, and this is my opinion, do I think there's a way to manipulate certain energies? Yeah, I do, like law of attraction, that sort of stuff. And I'm not going as crazy to say it's like The Secret. You draw a picture of a Ferrari and you can have a Ferrari one day.
Yeah.
But can you manipulate the energy around you? You know you can.
Yeah.
Of course you can. You're in control of your own energy. The way you treat people, you can manipulate situations. I believe you can manipulate time. You know what I mean? Like, and even if, especially for someone who doesn't have any idea, like I know we told a few Ouija board experiences last time. I think we've got a few more to share tonight. However, even if... especially for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, you're fucking with things that you don't understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And if you give energy, like I've thought about this with a religion, right? So the power of Christ compels you. The
Yeah.
power of Christ compels you. Think about how many people give energy to that cross, that entity, that around the world.
Yeah.
How many people, even if it's nothing, right? Even they give that symbol energy
Yeah.
because they focus on it. They pray to it. You know what I mean? Like you're giving something energy.
Yeah.
That's
I know exactly what you're talking about. Where
billions of people, man.
you could create something totally fictitious just by spreading the word that this thing exists.
Was it the flying spaghetti monster? Yeah,
You can create anything you like and
exactly.
have millions of people believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
You give this thing power and potentially create something from it.
Something has got to happen, right? So the laws, the laws of physics is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if you're giving something like that, even if it's a symbol, that amount of energy, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's all the stuff through like New Orleans and the South and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Like all the voodoo, like all that dark art stuff. There's people giving that stuff energy, man. You know what I mean? Like the negative aspects. Like even if it's all bullshit, right? If you're giving those entities or that inanimate object or whatever it is, that word, that person, the perceived entity, energy, and enough people are giving it energy, to me, you're going to create it, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people need to be very, very careful when they fuck with shit because, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? And I'm not by any stretch of imagination saying that I do at all. However, I, through my own personal understanding, have a belief system in place that if universal law and universal energy does exist, which I'm pretty sure that it does, if you want to fuck with it, what you're about to do is not a good thing. So don't, you know what I mean? You can't bind someone to you. That's not how the game works.
Mm.
And if you're using a dark energy or a dark force in order to do that, whether it exists or not, that's not cool.
Yeah. And if it does exist, what kind of force
what the fuck
is making that happen?
Exactly.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah, man. It's a very scary thought.
You hear about it all the time as well. Like someone sells their soul to...
Sold your soul to the devil, man.
Sell your soul to the devil through an object or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
People reap benefits from it or claim to.
Yep.
And then they go, yep, I'm done with it now. So they throw the object in the fire. Bad shit starts happening.
Uh-huh.
And then things start going bad.
Mate, you want to listen to a podcast? They're all 10 minutes long. It's Aaron Mankey's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yeah,
and he tells all sorts of weird supernatural stories like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, this object, it just, it got passed around and 20 people died.
Yeah.
And someone put it away, no one's seen it since, and no one's game to look.
Yeah.
So it's like, is that actually doing that? Or is it the power they've given the object? You know what I mean? Like it's...
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I'm right into like the Conjuring movies and Annabelle.
Yeah. That Conjuring, the first Conjuring is one of the best. That's a really well done movie.
Yeah. Big fan of those. I think it's James Wan is the director.
Yeah, I think it is.
What he produces is pretty cool. But yeah, the whole Annabelle thing, like I heard all the backstory about the Warren family and
because that's based on...
It's based on a true story.
It's based on a true story, yeah.
There's Ed and Lorraine Warren were very famous paranormal experts. And they claim to do exorcisms and all that sort of stuff. And
you understand though that even in Australia, there's still something like over 100 exorcisms performed in Australia every year, still to this day.
I wouldn't question that at all, mate. I probably would have thought the number could even be higher, to be honest. But yeah, so their whole house is actually full of supposed haunted objects because every case that they work on that involves a haunted object, they take it home.
They figure it's safer with them.
Yeah, they can
contain it somehow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And look, again, everything is energy, so I think that's possible.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Does it mean I want to surround myself with a whole heap of weird shit? No, I don't.
No, that's that's not my gig, mate.
So theoretically, does that house still exist in America somewhere, or?
Yeah. As far as I know, I think at least Lorraine's still alive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, yeah, mate, the whole house is just chock full of it. You have to walk through their downstairs with your arms by your side because you can barely walk through it. There is literally thousands of items.
Again, okay, so let's play the 1% game.
Yeah, let's.
You know what I mean? What
Yeah.
if 1% of those items is actually what it says it is?
Yeah, potentially the Annabelle doll.
Yeah, that doll creeps me out. But all those dolls creep me out though.
Well, the doll is different in the movie, obviously, to the
Yeah.
real life one.
Yeah.
The real life one was one of those Raggedy Ann dolls.
Oh, was it?
So it wasn't exactly a threatening threatening thing to look at in
Yeah,
real
right.
life.
In real life, it was just like a
Because
Raggedy Ann doll.
They obviously take it to the next
well,
level
you
for a horror movie.
Yeah, you got to do the movie, man.
But in saying that, like the things that this doll supposedly does is pretty wild.
Yeah. But it's places too, though. I just actually had a bit of a thought, right?
Yeah, haunted places, of
Haunted
course.
places. So apparently on Lihir Island, right, I can actually show you photos. There's the rock. It's the rock it's the vortex, okay? So basically theoretically there's a cave underneath the rock, or there's a road around it now, but it used to be the coastline, and that was the window to the next dimension. There was like a tunnel, and when someone on the island would die, they'd float the body inside that tunnel and it would vanish.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Okay.
And it's the most sacred space on the island. And it's a massive rock. I could show you photos of it. And theoretically, it's full of, like, the gold that comes off Lihir is some of the most purest gold on the planet.
Yeah.
Okay? And the way the rock formation is, and the local story is that it's basically just one big gold nugget under there, right? And, of course, obviously, our lust for gold leads us to be curious.
Yeah.
Now, the story goes, okay, I can neither confirm nor deny anything I'm about to say. However, the story goes on the island that they try to drill into it, and every time they try to drill in, and they've done it more than once, like half a dozen times, they've tried to core drill into this formation to see what's there, and something weird always happens. The engine fails, the drill bit fails, something goes wrong. Something will not let them drill into that rock.
Yeah.
And yeah, I heard that from more than one person and different walks of life. So I heard it from locals, I heard it from expats, I heard it from few different sources.
Yeah.
Again, though, I cannot neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
You know. However, I think we talked about that last time as well. That sometimes you go into a place and it's just like, fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to get out of here right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think those instincts, you need to trust those instincts, man. That is,
Oh, for sure.
that is lizard brain, millions of year old, red alert. Get the fuck out of there. Do it right now.
Yeah.
I've learned to trust my instincts with that sort of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of sacred places like that. There's a couple of places where I grew up where it's like it's a different space in the bush, man. There might be, the one that I'm thinking about at the moment, there's like circular pines, like it's like in a bit of a gully.
Yeah.
And it's always been a place. It's always drawn everyone. You know what I mean? It's like they have fires there. They do, you know what I mean? It's like something goes on there.
For some reason, it's a go-to place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for generations, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
So how far back does that go? Now, that's not necessarily a haunted place. However, there's been plenty of times where I think I've been watched in the bush. You know what I mean? It's like, and I know that no one's there. However, it's like something is watching.
Yowies.
Yowies, exactly, right? Again, though, man, it's like, okay, here's a question for you. We obviously loved this stuff when we were younger. We spent a lot of time digging into it. We had a couple of formative experiences. Are we susceptible to believing it because of all that?
Yeah, of course.
So has any of it happened?
Like you said at the beginning, mate, if it did happen, did it happen to us? Like us sitting here in these chairs right now? Yeah.
Who
Mate,
knows?
The possibilities are endless. And the more you think about it, the more you fucking scramble your brain.
Well, let's get away from figuring it out. Tell us a story, man. What stories have you not shared with us? I mean, I've shared a couple with you tonight. What have you got in the back files there?
Well, probably going back to a point you made earlier about people not knowing what the fuck they're doing. I've had a couple of instances of doing things that I probably shouldn't have done, all of which involve Ouija boards. Anyone that's listening, I would highly advise that you stay away from them. They scare the shit out of me now. Like the one that I told you, I think it was on the podcast, was
you definitely told the
girl chased me around with
a pair of scissors,
and apparently possessed by the devil.
Right.
That should have been enough to stop me, but for some reason
you double dipped.
What
happened?
A night fueled by alcohol and
oh, that's good. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Yeah.
Apparently card games weren't good enough for us, so we decided to make a Ouija board and just did the old permanent marker on a big sheet of cardboard.
Yep.
Draw it all out.
Yep.
Because it had worked for me previously.
A to Z, yes, no.
Yep. Hello, goodbye.
Yep.
That's it. So did that, got it all set up, got the shot glass out, and there was 3 of us actually doing the Ouija board. And Peter, my wife, was the scribe. So all the letters that were
the shot glass
that the shot glass was going over, she
Yeah.
was writing it down.
Mhm.
Would see what words it made up.
Yep.
That sort of jazz. So we're sitting there, we're still drinking away.
Of course, yeah.
I'm not going to say that we were hammered drunk
But you were
by any
past
means.
tipsy.
Yeah. We're on our way.
Yeah.
At least I was.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we started, and it was the shot glass was doing the whole sort of shooting around the board.
Yeah.
Not really doing anything.
So would you have a fingertip on the glass each?
Yeah.
So your index finger generally?
Each index finger on the shot glass.
Yeah. There's always a period, and I recommend, I wholeheartedly agree with you that just leave that shit alone. However, when it starts shooting around, you start looking at each other because it's like, are you doing that?
Oh, every time.
Every time.
Every time. I've done it a few times now, and yeah, it doesn't get any less surprising. The more you do it, you're still looking at each other going, this is fucked.
Mm.
Like, are you doing that? Are you doing that? Am I doing it? What the hell's going on?
Right.
Anyways, I'm going to say that no one was doing it.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll get into the nitty gritty of the story. So it's shooting around the board, starts spilling out a whole bunch of stuff. This story's going to be a bit grainy. I can't remember all the details.
Alcohol was involved.
Yeah, it was spelling out a bunch of stuff. We're all sitting there surprised by
Words or
yeah. It was spelling out words. A lot of like just hate filled
dark
stuff. Like it was saying "fuck you," like kill and all this sort of stuff. We should have quit immediately.
You should have bailed straight away.
Should have.
Yeah.
But then things changed. So what happened was, we're doing this, it's throwing all these negative things. All of a sudden, so let me paint the picture for you.
Yep.
We're at our friend's place, we're sitting in their front driveway. So they've got a really long, well, not really long, but long enough driveway that's away from the road,
Mm-hmm.
still pretty close to their house.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just sitting in the driveway. And they had the stereo going inside. So let's say the stereo goes up to volume number of 20.
Yeah.
It would have been sitting on 5 the whole night.
Uh-huh.
No one turned it up, no one turned it down.
No one touched it.
So we're sitting out the front.
And everybody's out the front. There's no one inside.
No one. No one. All 4 people were out the front. So all of a sudden, right, so we're all sitting there comfortable, as in our environment around us
Set and setting was nice.
was okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you're around friends.
even when this thing was throwing up these words, we weren't we weren't feeling like we were being attacked by anything, or
Yeah.
it was just still just a normal night
Uh-huh.
outside. All of a sudden, mate, it would have dropped to like 5 degrees.
And what time of year was this supposedly?
Mate, it wasn't winter, I can tell you that much. We were all I'm pretty sure we were sitting there in t-shirts.
Yeah.
And yeah, mate, it got cold. And we were all sitting there, and we all noted it. Looked at each other and went, man,
It's fucking cold.
it's getting fucking cold.
And this is during the what's the timeline?
Oh, mate, this is...
You're in the Ouija board when the temperature drops, or?
Yeah, absolutely. And then the responses started changing to... So there was our friend whose house it was. Her name's Jade. Hi, Jade. She'll listen to this afterwards.
Yeah.
She started asking questions in regards to her grandmother, because she'd had a whole lot of weird occurrences happen in the house in like a certain period of time leading up to that night.
Yeah.
So she's like, hey grandma, how you doing, blah, 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 asking questions, and then she started getting responses from it, and very relevant responses to her.
Yeah.
So then it got really cold, and it was just going straight through us. We were like, we don't know what the hell's going on here. And then all of a sudden, I can't remember the song that was playing. I think it was could have been a Phil Collins song or something.
Right.
Something that none of us would have listened to that night.
Yeah.
And yeah, mate, actually, it was my iPod
Right.
that we hooked up to the stereo. So it was just playing a whole bunch of like things that I listened to.
Uh-huh.
And mate, I probably would have had Phil Collins on there.
Yeah, look, there's a couple of good Phil Collins songs.
Yeah, but nothing like that style of music played all night. So it was an older song.
Yeah.
It came on, and the stereo turned up to 20.
Wow.
So we're sitting out the front, and it was a gradual turn up as well. Like someone was
turning the dial,
and trying to maybe get us away from the board. Like it was, because it was that loud that, like my mate had to jump up off his chair and run inside to turn it down.
Yeah.
That freaked me out, because to have that physical change
Mm.
in the temperature
And then the song.
and then something like that happen, and even like Jade was like, oh, do you like that song? Is that why you're turning it up? And got the answer, yes. And weird things happen, mate. It was
And how did that end up? Did you just back out of it after that?
just did the like close it off, did the whole shutdown spiel, and finished up our night's drinking. And
A little wigged out.
yeah,
Did the temperature come back up afterwards, or?
almost immediately, mate.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty freaky deaky.
And again,
All
for
the-
the people,
All the kids out there, stay away from the Ouija boards.
stay away from the Ouija boards.
Yeah, even a homemade one can do some really weird things.
And again, just stay away. Because again, you don't know, what are you calling forth? You don't actually know that.
No, and since that thing happening,
Yeah.
I've caught wind of like, if your planchettes like flying around the board, that's a negative. It can be a sign of something very negative.
Yeah.
It's like giving you the runaround. It doesn't want to play the game that you want to play. And yeah, and it's also potentially something negative, giving the correct answers to make you think that it's something that it's not.
Exactly. It's fucking with you.
Yeah. So based on all those things, mate, I will not be partaking in.
Was that the last time you did Ouija board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was enough to make me.
Well, it was actual physical changes to the environment.
Yeah, exactly. When stuff like that happens, that sticks with you, and yeah, it freaked me out quite a bit. Freaked us all out. So
I think I've had a lot of negative entities.
yeah,
I've encountered a few of those over the years. You know what I mean? I think did I tell the story about like the demon that I thought I saw in the valley?
Yeah, that came up in our
last
in our
podcast?
podcast. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that was a formative experience, you know what I mean? Man, I'll tell the story again only because it's relevant to what we're talking about.
yeah,
You know, in the valley somewhere, and I've actually had this when I first come to Brisbane, still a pretty heavy drinker, partying, clubbing, all that sort of stuff.
yeah,
I've had a fair few negative hair on the back of the neck experiences in the valley in Brisbane.
yeah,
Sort of similar to in Melbourne, you know what I mean? There's that part of every city where everybody knows you don't want to go down.
yeah. I guess it's a notorious cesspool. I guess I don't know. There's a lot of negative things that happen in an environment like that.
Well, that's right. And you got to remember our cities are very, very old.
Yeah,
However, I was in I don't know, the Winter Garden. I don't know. It was a dinky little shopping centre downstairs in the valley somewhere. I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist in a food court. And the quintessential demon, I suppose, but it was like trench coat, long hair, beard, the whole deal.
yeah,
Walked past and was just all right, and like, man, that. So like walk behind us, and again, multiple people at the table,
yeah.
and it's like, what the fuck, man? What was that? What did you just notice?
I think. Sorry, mate. The headphones have like a mirror.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
reflective.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. I just
Yeah,
saw the
you-
glare on the wall, and
What's that?
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing. See, now we're jumping at shadows because we're telling stories about shadows.
that's all right, mate. I debunked it.
yeah, conspiracy theory. No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I think these things, myself personally, I think we're ending up at the same place again. They definitely do exist, in my mind.
Yeah.
However, that's the question. Is it in my mind?
Yeah.
Or is it in everybody's mind? And are we creating them? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm cool with it though.
Yeah.
Like if it's in my mind, I'm not out to try and convince anyone or.
No. These are just stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. It's It's fun. It's fun to think that something completely bizarre exists
Yeah.
at the same time that we do, real or fake. It's just all fun. I like it.
Speaking of fun, what other stories have we got? You got any more loaded up?
Oh man, I'll tell the story that I told you off air
Okay.
after
All right.
our first podcast.
All right. Yep.
It's going to get a bit deep.
Yep.
But so when I was a youngster, I probably would have been in grade 3. Let's roll with that.
Okay.
Let's roll with grade 3.
So it's about 8 or 9.
So I'll just say it right now.
Yeah.
I watched one of my best friends die.
Yeah.
I used to catch the bus to and from school.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't a long trip or anything like that. It was just jump on, cruise a few Ks, pick up everyone, get to school. It's not like we were out in the middle of whoop and
Yep.
had to ride the bus for hours. So we always rode in the back seat. We were the cool kids apparently.
Who didn't ride in the back seat? I don't know.
Well,
Or me and
the
my
ones
mates
that couldn't fit, mate.
did. Yeah, me and my mates did. Yeah, we're at the back. Yeah.
So this one time we were heading home, and so some other friends of mine had jumped off the bus, and I decided to move up the front and say hi to some other friends now that seats were available. So I've run up, gone to like mid to the front of the bus, and bus started going, doing whatever we were doing, and then the bus has done a couple more stops, and then so our other friends that were on the back seat, some of them had gotten off at the next couple of stops,
Yeah.
and so my mate's still on the back seat. The bus has taken off, and I can't remember if I heard anything, but I remember going, oh, some of my friends have hopped off the bus, I'll go back to the back.
Yeah.
And I've like stood up and turned around, and I've seen my friend laying on the back seat in a pool of blood. At which point I've sort of freaked out, started screaming, and he was dead. He'd stood up on the back seat and put his head out the window.
Oh, the classic.
And
power pole or something.
Yeah, power pole, mate. Crusty. I think it crushed his head, broke his neck at least.
Yeah.
I think that's what killed him, and he was gone, laying on the back seat. Anyway, so story goes to bus pulled over. We've all jumped out of the bus. We're standing on the side of the road. It was handled very, very poorly. Admittedly, this was like grade 3 for me. Late 80s.
Yeah, like 1989, 90, somewhere
90,
in there.
around there.
Right.
It was shit house. Like, I think we just stood on the side of the road next to the bus. My friend's in the back seat, dead. Like, just everything that shouldn't have happened happened.
Oh.
Anyway, so we're all standing there, and I remember I looked to the side of me, and I felt this. Before I looked, I felt this presence next to me, like a kid walked up to me.
Yeah.
And I've turned, and it was him. It was him standing next to me, as he was,
like you would have done 1,000 times.
20 minutes prior.
Before you got on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, I've looked right next to me. He's standing there. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, he disappeared. To this day, like I said,
in your mind, that happened.
Was it me being a little kid freaking out?
Yeah.
Just seeing something? Yeah. I have no idea, mate, but yeah, still freaks me out.
Well, man, I'll tell you a story that actually only happened just recently, and I told all my cousins and stuff this after it happened, so everyone sort of knows that it would affect. So my grandfather passed last year. I did a podcast about it, and it was actually pretty rough, and you know, the upgrades in the studio and everything you're looking at is actually part of that is a result of me understanding what I'm doing and where I'm going and the influence that he had. And he wanted all the firstborn, the cousins, to be the pallbearers.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And anyway, so that was a different experience again. Obviously, we carried him out, and I noticed that it was a Ford hearse, and literally sliding the coffin into the hearse, I hear in my head my granddad's voice. Could have got me a fucking Holden. And I'm like, yeah, right, mate. You know what I mean? I was having a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Literally while my hand was still on the coffin.
Yeah.
Realised what I was doing, pushed it in, and then just stood back and went, you know what I mean? Like, his voice in my mind, it is as clear as day.
Yeah.
And he was a die-hard Holden man through and through. You know what I mean? Like, he had nothing but Holdens the entire time I knew him, apart from one Isuzu Ute and a van, but that was for work. You know what I mean? All the family cars were Holdens, always, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, could have got me a fucking Holden. You know, and it's like, and like, yeah, mate, I know, right? You know, like, because that was the kind of relationship I had with my grandfather. Oh, g'day, mate, how you going? Yeah, you know, like, and, you know, like, obviously it wasn't him. It was like he was standing next to me and sort of just like talking in my ear. That's how I heard it, you know? And yeah, man, like, I don't know, you know, like, that's and like, that only happened 6 months ago, you know? And later on, we were having a few drinks, I suppose. Yeah, I told the other cousins that no one had sort of heard it. Everyone had a laugh and all that sort of stuff about it, you know? Everyone had, you know, similar experiences, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, did I want that to happen? Did I need that? You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard. However, to me, I heard his voice as clear as day. You know, and there's always strange things around that, right? Like my uncle had gotten some of his port bottles that he'd hidden down in the cellar, and we poured everyone a drink, and there was one left over. Wasn't the plan. However, after everyone's drinks were poured, there was one left.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we know who that's for. And I don't know, someone probably drank it. I didn't see anyone drink it. However, next time I looked at it, it was empty.
Yeah.
You know? However, no, my cousin, someone probably drank it. You know, however, yeah, and I don't know, you know, like, it's a hard one, dude. Like, these things, man, and the thing is that if you, obviously we're open enough to share this on the podcast. However, most people have a story that is very similar, or something has happened to them. There's an experience they've had, whether it's the supernatural, whether they've denied it, you know what I mean, brushed it off, you know, like everyone, you know, there's something else out there, man.
No, for sure, mate. And yeah, you're spot on. A lot of people would react differently to things that we may have experienced.
Yeah.
They sweep it under the rug and go, I'm never talking about this shit.
Yeah. Well, I've actually, you know, I think it was, I can't remember. It was a class one of mine or something. I don't know. For whatever reason, people talk to me about this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? They see that I'm open to it and I'm willing to discuss it.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, you know, I've asked people, you know, what do you do when that happens? I go home and get fucking drunk. You know what I mean? Like, just block it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think that is actually a natural, not a natural reaction, but a definite reaction of some people. That's what they do. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Because people are afraid of things that they can't explain.
Yeah.
And they can't understand.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why there's a lot of fear around some of this
and
stuff.
I think that's why we riff so well together, because we both view these things the same way.
Yeah.
We're analysing it and actually putting thought into it, and we're free to express this stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of closed off people that are too scared of it, or
yeah, that's right, man. And I think, you know, before we move on to probably the last topic for the night, because we've got some pretty cool stuff in front of us. However, I think we'll end that, you know, that sort of side of things the way we ended it last time, where it's like, be open. You know what I mean? Be open and explore. And if something's bad, get the fuck out of Dodge. You know what I mean? Like, if your lizard instincts, the hair stands at the back of your neck, and your instincts say, get the fuck out of there.
do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Right now. Just get the
Don't
fuck
think
out of there.
about it.
All right? There's a reason that is telling you that. However, to deny that there is things in this world that we don't understand is foolish. Because there is so... Posted a meme the other day on the page. It was like a pie chart. It was like things that I don't know, and then it's like things that I know that I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually the whole the one of the secrets of the universe, man, is to understand that you don't know fucking anything about anything. The percentage of what you know is a 15th of nothing.
Yeah, and I'm even dumber than
That's right.
than people that know shit.
Exactly,
like,
right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, right? So you need to take that into account. And I think that's probably, again, why we riff so well, is because we both understand that. We both understand that even though we could sit here, you know, we sat here for 2 hours before we turned the mics on and talked about a million different things. You know, after the mics turn off, we'll probably still sit here for 2 hours and talk about a million different things.
Potentially, mate.
We could riff for hours and hours on multiple subjects. We know nothing. Nothing.
No, and I did say this in our first podcast, where my advice was to just question stuff. Like,
absolutely,
if freaky shit happens, don't shy away from it.
No, analyze it.
Just go, what the fuck was that all about? I need to know a bit more about this, and what does it mean?
Well, we just told a heap of freaky stories. You saw a reflection off my headphones, and it made you twitch.
Yeah,
but then you realised it was a reflection off my headphones. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, that's obviously not, you know, is some of the stuff we talked about tonight. However, that's an example, isn't it? You know what I mean? You questioned it and went, what was that? Oh, no, it's nothing. It's all right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, be open and understanding. However, we're talking about the energies of the universe. I have the Pythagoras symbols in front of us in a quartz crystal. Sacred geometry, man.
Yeah.
It's the last weird topic we're going to cover tonight.
Yeah, no, and a very surprising one, because I came here with every intention of springing it on you, going, hey, like, guess what I'm checking out at the moment?
Yeah, well, obviously, those that listeners of the podcast, they know that the symbol of the podcast is a sacred geometry symbol.
Yep.
Within that, there is the flower of life, the triquetra. Within that symbol that is behind the podcast, there's again not the sharp, like we've got the square and the trapezoid and the cube and the sphere, and that's the things we've got in front of us at the moment. I'll take a photo and put it on Instagram. However, you know, the shapes that are behind the symbol of the podcast and the shapes that are in front of us at a molecular level govern the universe. And that's science proving that. That's not woo-woo, you know what I mean? Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, I think it was woo-woo for a little while. However, the deeper that we dig, the more we understand that at a base level, there is shapes and numbers and symbols that govern our universe. So spring on me what you're going to spring on me. What have you found out? What have you been researching?
Well, mate, in all honesty, haven't even started to scratch the surface. Like it popped up in my life in the last week or two.
Yeah.
I've always loved the images. So the drawings of
The flower of life.
sacred geometry,
Yeah,
I've always looked at it and gone, that is awesome.
Yeah.
As a visual thing, I just love it.
Yeah.
Everything about it. Doesn't matter which one it is or what style it is.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It just speaks to me for some reason.
Yeah.
So, as you know, I'm building a bit of a music studio at the moment.
Yep.
Decided I've got some frames laying around, want to put some prints in them. Started looking at sacred geometry.
Yeah. What symbol are you drawn to the most, just out of curiosity?
Well, there's two.
Uh-huh.
There's Metatron's cube.
Yep, which is in front of you there.
Yep.
Yep.
In a crystal form.
Yep.
Yes. TD version's a little bit different, but
Yep.
And also the flower of life.
Uh-huh.
For some reason, just those two really resonate with me. I don't know yet why.
Yeah, you can look into the reasonings behind that, or the potential reasonings and understandings that people have behind that. And like you talk about the podcast symbol, everyone I've spoken to sees something different.
Yeah.
Right? To them, something stands out.
Yeah.
Like I see the triquetra everywhere
Mm-hmm.
in that symbol. How I've had to point that out to people. Some people see the flower of life. Some people see diamonds. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
each to their own.
And I guess that's one of the alluring things about sacred geometry and these images that I'm talking about specifically is you can look at them 20 times and see something different about it each time.
Yeah, see a different detail. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you've got to grasp the thing with sacred geometry. And look, a sacred geometry podcast is something that I really want to dig into. It's, you got to understand that at a subatomic level, and even just like flowers and trees and all that sort of stuff, these shapes and the way these things are constructed, they govern our existence. You know what I mean? Like the couch that we're sitting on, the concrete, the walls, when you dig into that and you get down in there, the molecules and all those sorts of things, they are in different shapes, you know, viruses, all this sort of stuff. DNA, there is a code to the universe, you know, and we're beginning to understand that. Unlocking that code, you know. And again, another one, I think with, you know, through research, the line between science and magic is blurring, because it's always been that this shape controls this has that, you know what I mean? Like, this has this power, that has that power. You listen to Nikola Tesla's stuff, you know what I mean? He's like, if you understood the power of 3, 6, and 9, you could rule the universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Multiples of 9. There's a lot of number stuff where it's, you know, 72 is the magical number of the universe, pretty much, you know, or multiples of 9 is the magical number of the universe.
Yeah.
It's like,
I've also heard 7 as well.
yeah.
Number 7's another.
Yeah, well, they've all got, you know, and they're reoccurring numbers through frequency, through math, through, you know what I mean? These things, again, though, are we just giving them power? Or did we understand these shapes and these things a lot better once upon a time? And again, it's an echo of a memory.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I guess, once again, is it something that we want to exist?
Well, the problem is, too, is that they've pretty much proven through quantum mechanics and experiments is that observing something affects it.
Yeah.
So what was it when we're not observing it?
Mm.
We can't actually know, because all the experiments suggest that as soon as you look at it, it does something.
Yeah.
So is it because of our three-dimensional mind that we see these shapes and we apply those shapes? Or do we... The human mind sees patterns in things. That's the thing about the human mind. It likes to see patterns.
Yeah.
However, how many coincidences are or coincidi until the patterns actually...
Yeah, it's... Mate, rabbit holes are deep.
Rabbit holes are deep. Sacred geometry is another one of those ones that I do want to dedicate some time to try and unpack it a little bit, because I don't know enough about it myself. I've always been obsessed with it. Why do you think I've got those? You know, that's why I bought the quartz crystal shapes.
Yep.
Because it's like, you know, they're the shapes that govern our existence. Everything around us is in those 7 shapes.
Yeah.
And it's different, you know, and everyone's drawn to a different one. Like I've showed a few people now, and they're all drawn to a different shape.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to unpack that. Why are you drawn to that shape?
Man, and I would love to do that. That
Well,
one with you, because
maybe let's put a pin in it, and we'll pencil in a sacred geometry podcast where we actually spend a bit more time delving into sacred geometry, what it is, and all that sort of stuff.
I would love to actually do some research and come on here with some factual information, and yeah.
All right. Well, let's do that. I mean, I think we're done, dude. I'm pretty happy. If you're happy,
happy as Larry.
Okay. However, what I need you to do is with your right hand. There's 3 Wisdom Warrior books there in the bookcase down below, in the middle. Yep, Wisdom Warrior. Choose whichever one talks to you the most, because this is something we haven't done in a while. Is that I want you to grab one of those books, don't look, and just open the page.
We've done this before.
No, that's not them. That's the dragon books. Oh no, sorry, mate. Up above in the middle there. Bodie Sanders. Dead air's not good, bro. There you go.
Sorry, mate. I'm looking at Warrior Wisdom.
Warrior Wisdom
by Bodie Sanders.
So,
PhD. Picking a page.
What does it tell us? Don't think about it.
Righto. So, the title of the page is Be Careful of Your Thoughts. They are the beginning of your acts.
Is that not what we've been talking about this whole time?
It can definitely be interpreted as what we've been talking about.
What's the other page say?
It's a longer one.
Yeah.
So this one is, a man must decide what to do. He must go all the way, but he must take responsibility for what he does. No matter what he does, he must know first why he is doing it, and then he must proceed with his actions without having doubts or remorse about them. Not really speaking to me right now.
Yep.
But
the
I
first one,
like it though.
The first one though is pretty much what we've been talking about.
Mate, it's very appropriate for just every day.
It is very appropriate.
Be careful of your thoughts. They are the beginning of your acts.
Well, thanks very much, mate. Have you got any final... Speaking of thoughts, you got any final thoughts before we jump off?
Not at all, mate. I am just super stoked to be back, man.
Thanks, man. It's
Thank you
awesome
so much for having me, dude.
No, mate. As I say,
this new setup is...
it's primo, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I think we need some pop filters on the microphones. That's probably the only thing that's coming out of tonight, because the fan's off and we can actually I can hear a bit more clearer, so I'll get some of those. And
my apologies for any clicking of my mouth or heavy breathing.
Oh, mate, thanks very much, man. The weirdness continues.
Mate, stay weird.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll talk soon. Cheers.
Thanks, Phil.
No worries.
Today I sat in a field of paper daisies. The gentle breeze made the world wave to me. The day has come with a gold ring wrapped around it. I think I might just bathe in the sun. And I hope my world don't crash in over I think I might just bathe in the sun. I think I might just bathe in the sun.